Welcome, everybody, to our Monday night empowerment session where we are going to be talking about energy and how you can safely get up to speed. We're going to start with my question is, do you have the energy to enjoy your life? This is just a few things over the years that, here we are middle to, past middle age actually, and yet we're still getting out and enjoying life, doing sailing trips, rappelling, hiking out in Colorado. That other picture there is our oldest son. He's does a lot of rock climbing. So, but do you have energy to enjoy your life? And if you don't, how are you getting that energy? Because my question is, are you doing it safely? That is a big concern for me. And here's some of the statistics and why I'm concerned. It is estimated, and this is current data, that 1/3 of teens under the age of 17 drink energy drinks regularly. They're turning towards those for energy. And then my question is, how many are they actually drinking? You've got a quarter or 25% of your college students that are using alcohol with energy drinks. So they're combining both a depressant with an energy, which creates and wreaks havoc on the body. And then look at this one, 42% of all energy drink related emergency visits involve combining those beverages with alcohol or drugs, whether they're over the counter, something they bought off the street, or if they're using marijuana. I had an incident, golly, I want to say 10, 12 years ago, where I had a mother bring her high school senior down because they just come from the ER because he was having heart attack-like symptoms. And they couldn't figure out what was going on. They brought him to me. My first question, I looked directly at the young man and asked him how many energy drinks he had had. And that was the culprit. That's exactly what it ended up sending him to the emergency room where they thought he was having a heart attack. Very simple fix. Stop drinking the energy drinks. So people are doing this without realizing the consequences. Or what is the potential cost? So let's look at some of the side effects or implications, problems that can happen when we're doing energy drinks on a regular basis. Look at the amount of caffeine they've got. Did you know there's something called a caffeine overdose that can happen? So most of those drinks got between 70 to 240 milligrams of caffeine per drink. But you compare that to a pop, that's a caffeinated pop that might have 35 milligrams and or 100 milligrams in an 8-ounce cup of coffee. So regardless, this is more caffeine than they're going to have in a pop, and almost at least a minimum of the amount in a cup of coffee. But again, it can be equal to 2 or 3 cups of coffee. And how many people drink just one? How many people do you know that are doing 2 or 3 a day? I see that so often, or hear about it, or people that are buying them in, boxes, or, massive amounts of these. Notice the shopping carts and how many got them, or notice the convenience stores. Guys, this is a big concern, but we've just started. That's part of the issue. If you're caffeine sensitive like I am, you're going to have issues with feeling that anxiety or those jitters that happens. But let me tell you, those people who think that they don't have issues with caffeine, once they start loading the system up with this, they end up with the issues, and it zaps the adrenals because it's pushing that adrenaline. And those of you that have been listening to my webinars for a while know that the adrenals cannot tell the difference between good energy and bad energy. And so while you may be getting a temporary result by drinking those, it's not long-term energy. We're talking about issues like I was talking about with this young man, stuff that where they think they might be having a heart attack or their blood pressure is being raised. How many of these people realize that then they can end up with sleep issues? So now they don't have energy. They're so tired they can't function during the day. They're taking an energy drink or 2 or 3. They get up to speed and then they can't sleep. So we're just adding fuel to the fire because lack of sleep does not allow the body to restore, and it creates and keeps that issue as being an ongoing problem. These drinks can also cause issues with the digestive tract. It can mess up your ability to break down your foods. It can create where the bowel's dumping, creating diarrhea because it's literally trying to move the poisons out or what it's seeing is too much of something, getting it out. And many people are aware that you get high amounts of caffeine and you just lose your appetite. You can also become extremely dehydrated. And we are having an issue with people drinking enough water in today's society. Chest pains, dizziness. Now that may be from the dehydration, or it could also be caused just from how it's messing with the gut. But another thing I just remembered, and I did not put in this, a lot of these energy drinks have got artificial sweeteners in it, like sucralose being one, and these things do mess up the digestive system. I remember both Troy and I don't know, 15 years ago or so, stopping at a health food store, grabbing a drink and not thinking anything of it, because it's like, okay, it's a brand that I trusted for a while. I'm picking it up from a good reputable health food store. You know, we're on a trip. It shouldn't be an issue. Within 2 swallows, I was so sick to my stomach. And I realized when I flipped around and looked at the ingredients that they had changed it and they had put sucralose in there. And I dumped it out because it messed with my stomach so fast. So, and Troy got sick too. A lot of these energy drinks have got that in there. It can also end up causing a dependence on that caffeine and sugar because of that artificial stimulation of getting the energy on. It's not really coming from a foundation. So it's not really, I guess artificial isn't the right word. We've got just something that's pushing the system as opposed to actually supporting it. You can end up with weight gain, believe it or not, when you have these on a regular basis, because there's so much sugar and calories that are built in these that they're trying to get you to get your energy off of. You end up with interesting cravings, and they can destroy the teeth. So there is a lot of potential costs with this. But the real question becomes, why are you tired? And are you addressing it from a foundational aspect or approach, or symptomatic? And if you're addressing it symptomatically, think of it like one of the leaves on the tree. One of these leaves up here could be exhaustion, or like it has up there, chronic fatigue. If you are just using that energy drink to address the chronic fatigue, you have not fixed the foundation or the real issue for the problem, which is why you do not get long-term results. So again, the real question is now, why is your body tired? That's what we want to look at. Is it tired because you don't digest your food well? Is it tired because you don't have the opportunity to eat as well as you should? Is it tired because it's simply dehydrated and not drinking enough water? What is the real thing that's going to put good, solid fuel in your tank so that you have energy to go the distance? Enter the world of adaptogens. Why are they so special, and why are they important when we're talking about something like this? Well, one thing is adaptogens are non-toxic. They have the ability to help the body get in and come into balance. If you are exhausted on a regular, ongoing basis, no matter how much sleep you get, or how much you've decreased your stress level, there probably is an underlying foundational issue. And adaptogens are so amazing in their ability to go right to the crux of the issue and start to bring the body into balance. For instance, a lot of people are familiar that having a thyroid out of balance can add to fatigue issues in a big way. And those fatigue issues may show up as issues with adding extra weight onto, or just having metabolic challenges to begin with. Well, adaptogens can help to rein that thyroid in if it's overactive, or in this case, like we're talking about, it would be underactive. The same adaptogen can help to bring it back up to speed. And you don't even have to know exactly what the underlying issue is, because adaptogens are so outstanding at finding the underlying issue themselves. Here would be a great example, our CineMate. Yes, it does have multiple herbs in it to help to balance blood sugar, but it takes a foundational approach for energy. And people do feel very good energy when they take it. whether it's balancing the blood sugar, whether or not it's because it's keeping them from eating sugar because their blood sugar is more balanced. It also boosts your energy or your stamina because it's helping you to get more benefit out of your foods that you're eating. So CineMate is not the same as taking like a 6-hour energy drink because it's not spiked with all these different ingredients. And let me explain that a little bit better. For instance, if something says it's got X amount of milligrams of caffeine, there's a very good chance that that is synthetic caffeine or isolated. In order for them to measure it, it's added in there. It's not still in its whole food form. Same with your B vitamins. For us to come in, because a lot of those energy drinks have got high amounts of maybe B12 or B6 in there. But if it's isolated like that, it's probably a good chance that it's synthetic or that it's been isolated, no longer has its checks and balances, or your vitamins, when you look at them, it doesn't have your cofactors in there to support it. When we have it in its whole food components, like we do in CineMate, and more specifically, the yerba mate in it is in its whole form. They did not isolate all those elements to get the energy part of it. We have the whole package there. So you have a aspect of it called matine, which is in the same family caffeine is in, but it doesn't have caffeine in it. It has all the benefits without the caffeine. It doesn't sabotage the adrenals. It's got so much dense nutrition in a really bioavailable format that you really get good solid energy with no jitters, with being able to think more clearly, with being able to go the distance. For instance, I had a speaking engagement earlier today in another town that I had to drive to, and it was over lunch. So I mixed up my Soul Complete and I mixed in a CineMate with it. And that's what I drank off and on throughout the event that I was at, so that I still have my blood sugar balanced. I could think clearly and be able to get up and speak with no challenges. CineMate is incredible for that. CineMate is also part of the Bella Health program. And the reason I bring up Bella Health is Bella Health addresses the gut. And when you can properly digest your food, you will get more benefit from it. So many people find they get energy from the Vital as well. And Vital is part of that program. In fact, I remember one of the first people that I started on Vital, they actually called me up and they said, "Are you sure this doesn't have any caffeine in it?" And I said, "Why? You feeling that good?" And they said, "Absolutely. I've got so much energy. It's crazy, but it's not like caffeine energy." I said, "It's called good, dense nutrition." Vital does that. It gives great nutrition. And so when you're on that Bella Health program with both the CineMate and Vital, you're getting good nutrition. The Vertizymes is helping you break down your foods and get more benefit. And at a different webinar, I'll even get into how Vertizymes helps to break down inflammation, which helps allow you to have more energy as well, because you don't feel so much like crud. And then your ProBioIQ, one of the aspects of it, helping that digestion work better, it also is going to help support the brain. And I know we just in a little bit talked about some of the highlights of these couple products, the benefits of these. I could spend an entire day teaching on each one of these and still just barely skim the surface. But it is so important to me to come in foundationally to help address energy, because so many people unintentionally make a choice in the moment that has long-term consequences that they weren't expecting. So, quick side or tidbit here. Next time you look in the mirror, look at your tongue. Notice if there's a crack going down the center. If there is, then the Bella Health program might be worth looking into for you, because that crack down the center can be indicating that you have some challenges when it comes to absorption and digestion of your food. And my final quote is, "Your energy introduces you before you even speak." So the energy that you present and you walk into the room with, people can tell within a second how you feel. They can tell whether or not you have the energy to carry a conversation, whether or not you want to be there, whether or not they want to be around you. Keep that in mind whenever you're looking at long-term sustainable energy that's coming from a truly secured foundation.